Good morning, Salon, and now we look at one issue where we see don't they go round as we see concerns don't they come out from player them and self members of the public for SAGA where they say the Salon Football Association SLFA don't refuse for give money to some player them. Where according to them, they say not be return some the kits them where they be supposed for the return. Well, for we know exactly waiting at the issue with this particular concern where don't they come from the public and some football players them. We get on the line now Kamara, we're the General Secretary for SLFA. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon. Hello, Chris.
No.
In Salon, they continue. We did try forget Chris Kamara on the program, so it will clarify issues them we get for do with concerns from the public and some football players them we say SLFA don't refuse for give them certain money because they say they don't return kits them we the FA they expected them for don't return before they get that money they well. Also the money come out, waiting at the total amounts of the money and save. Waiting at the issues around the kits them. We won't forget clarifications and we get Chris Kamara on the line now. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Chris. Chris Kamara from the Salon Football Association, SLFA. We go clarify issues them. We get for do with concerns. We, as I say earlier, they come from the public and some players them where they expect money from SLFA, but they say the FA say they not go give them money until they return. The kits them we not some umbro kits them we according to them they be supposed for the return. Good morning and welcome to the program, Chris Kamara.
Yeah, good morning, 98.1, and good morning to the listeners.
Well, I guess SLFA don't they follow up different write-ups them way we don't they see as per concerns where they come from people at the public pertaining money where they say the SLFA not agree for give some football players them because according to the information where we get now that they not be return some umbro kits them where they suppose for the return after the AFCON match where Salon be participating. Firstly, confirm if not to say them player being supposed for return any umbro kits them to SLFA.
I think good morning once more, and thank you for giving us the opportunity for clarifying this issue. I think we try as best as possible for now get the kits manager for coming at the program day when I inform a player and Kamara. But since we will get them and with a short notice, we will take this interview. Madam Khadija at 98.1, the Salon Football Association, a body corporate, an institution, we charge you the responsibility of administering football in Sierra Leone. The Salon Football Association, every other individual, I be the listening just know Mr. Noel Hudson, when I chairman of a Premier League club. Mr. Noel Hudson in a discussion clearly indicates the Premier League clubs, officials, players, they're all bound by the direct relationship with the Sierra Leone Football Association, i.e., decisions, instructions, and directives of the Sierra Leone Football Association must be followed at all times. Khadija, it will interest you for no say, the Sierra Leone Football Association, they ensure that we self-match with other associations across the world in terms of presentation, in terms of kit management, and in terms of comportment. One amongst it is discipline. If you look, football now one of the most disciplined sports. Even for let you talk, you come by your mouth. That's now one for indicate say how you for respect the rules. Now how we see for just Egypt questioning the referee where CAF select and find the $100,000. Mr. Noel Otin, Asma James, the Medina Cameroon. We see how they discipline other associations.
So Mr. Kamara, back to the question.
I build a premise. I just build a premise. Let you understand, please. Allow me. For tell you say, what are they come at? Before we give the equipment to the players, the kits manager, the technical coordinator, the welfare officers had instruction from the SLFA when the kits manager signed. Now, when they give all things to the players, with the only thing where they for return, now the SUITCASE. This was before they left Sierra Leone.
So, Mr. Kamara, this instruction where you talk about, how una reach the decision? Na a lay down rule for say where una give them kits here to the player them. they're supposed for return them. How wanna reach that decision day?
I they explain that I explain to you so, madam. The property is the way they play, jerseys and everything, now the property of the federation. Mr. Noel Yana will tell you, say, in player the way they play for Central Parade. All the equipment when Central Parade they provide for the players. It is not the player property of the players, but the property of Central Parade Football Club. Manchester United, now the property of Manchester United. If a player wants to wear in jersey, if they go pay for them before you get the authority for to wear in jersey. But Salon not mention one thing. These kits, they're not cheap. They're very expensive. The minimum value of the kits is $24 for one. What do? We provide, imagine these players go away with 18 pair kits free. They go away with tracksuits, crepe, bags, series of bags. If you don't get all them things and they say, kindly return the suitcase. Why? Because we want all the whole team they dress, then dress properly. If you call them back for coming match, then they come empty-handed. You're not telling they don't go with anything. Or at the end of the day, what do? You see them all over the streets of Freetown. These are precious properties.
You don't name different kits them. Now, who specific one the FA be require say, then play also for return back. Because you don't name the jersey, the boots where they use, and different in them. Now, waiting exactly them for the return back.
Now, the suitcase.
Suitcase?
The suitcase. We give them bags. We give them popo bag and everything. But we know it's in the ask. After the competition, and the very players they ask the kit manager, say, do ya with the bag? The only player we follow the instruction at Cameroon as Stephen Cocker, they return his suitcase. It's because we agreed that it should be returned. So think on before they fly out. Again, Alassane Kouma, we get the injury in Cameroon. When they call Augustus Cabo, when Alassane return for return go Spain, now he hand over his suitcase to Augustus Cabo, we come in. Because Alassane gets the bag, he get all the other equipment, he get the crepe, he get cap, he get tracksuit, all he go with them. 18 pair kits, all they go with them free. If the FSA return this particular suitcase, why it will be an issue?
So this na thing will be done they happen. For example, if they be na other clubs them, na other team, them na other country, or salon say they don't practice them before.
And they give you example, Mr. Noel Otiwe, she don't they represent the Premier League club. And they give FC Cologne, now feel and they shape them jersey, them bags them. Now they back where you don't play on, and they left out. We see where Senegal win the Nations Cup. They hand over everything that is dressing room because that is the rule. You for hand over until and give them. And again, no understand one thing. Then so they get a process for giveaway. Their property has to be accounted for. Auditors that they come, auditors that they take stock take. Auditors know the amount of equipment we can at the federation, whether a gift, whether a sponsorship, whether a purchase. The auditors that they ask you, even when you give away, you got to get approval for sure that you don't give away NTR because the quit in question gets value. So if the auditors cannot see no approval, say then kick here we are giving away, they go tell you don't misappropriate the team. So what they try for is we ask them, now we can go this dinner where Sarah Fishery and the former MD of Commercial Bank give you this money. Madam Khadija, the money is SLFA. These are the best opportunity for them to get them to safety. Do you have Madam Khadija? You get $1,000 na SLFA. Do you have where they can take you $1,000? Kindly bring down your suitcase. My bad thing that day.
So this $28,000 where we understand say the FA don't get one for shame among them player and who side it come out from?
Now they tell you we go one dinner when a philanthropist give na therapy and we grateful for that. The SLFA not say men and shame to themselves. The SLFA executive not say they want them. The president say Chris, let it go to the players, but ensure that everything whether for return at the FA is returned. Now we call the player, the captain, Umaru Zengele Bangura. He bring his suitcase, he can't take him $1,000, he don't go back in Switzerland. So why if for me an issue, say, why if for go on radio? Why if for me, when you sign say as a player, if you listen to instructions of the FA, why Salon case for different? Why we all case for different as Salon? Why other countries them, besides your money, when them big so that they follow instructions? As Mali Cameroon, we all see the comportment. We see the Malians. We at the same hotel with Mali. Say they come out, nobody not see the Malian players at streets. Nobody not see the Malian players outside.
Kamara, now waiting go wrong. We make according to you say the players them all be don't agree say when they tell them kids they don't forgive back to the FA, but now they don't want to forgive. Waiting on I don't feel not say go wrong. We make they don't want return the kids them.
They don't want forgive. What me they say is we took a decision as a remedy that you get $1,000 na SLFA. Madam Khadija, then one company don't give you $1,000. When you can collect you $1,000, you are bring that suitcase scam. That is the decision we don't make. So we not say the no one count them. So we again ask 98.1 and the public for tell them, say, please, bring your suitcase scam, then take your money. The money then SLFA.
So if they not bring the suitcase scam, waiting SLFA will get for do?
No, what the type of say is every other institution gets the call. Not a radio station with the discover get rules and regulations. But again, what would they try for appeal is for too many who don't see the act of indiscipline. And I want to when they eat into the fabric of football. When you're in your club, you respect simple instruction. When you can at salon, you know why you listen to nobody. We get and they tell you now, Madam Khadija, it was an embarrassment for the national team after the president of this country don't address them. Then give them player then their departure allowance. No team in the Nations Cup not give departure allowance. The president of this country, let God bless him, His Excellency Babadie, he give them $3,000 each as departure allowance. When they reach the airport, they say now they board the flight if they not give them money. It cost the FA extra $10,000 because the delay that chartered flight, he delayed at the tarmac.
Refuse to listen to this instruction from the FA, Mr. Kamara. Waiting at the penalty. No, at
the penalties that they tell you about so. Like one, we not institute no disciplinary action at all, Madam Khadija. Look at the backlash. We not institute no disciplinary action it. We only say, bring the bad cam, can't take you money. Imagine now if we start, and they give you an example. Now, Hakim Ziyech, captain for Morocco, now sacked at the national team for indiscipline. Just because he left
impossible say SLFA go resolve to that for sack any player we not able for return in kits?
Look, that are one of the many actions the way the FA will come result into. Because you know the reason why would they say this? We don't reach a point we are in, Salon don't compromise. And they kill the compromising factors then. The Honorable Minister of Sports, Ibrahim Yeleke, was all to siege. Salon before they left here, the approved budget, now $3,000 per match. Other countries, then they will give 2,500 euros for the entire tournament. They go quarterfinals, like in Gambia. Salon, they say 3,000 per match, Khadija. The eve of the match, for the dress can go play. They say they don't give the 5,000, they don't play. Where is the nationality? They say return suitcase. You don't get over what things away over $6,000. You don't go to free. They say return suitcase. Again, they become challenging. Bring the suitcase, can't take your money. What is wrong with that?
So before you left, we other issue where they developed at the studio, as you self don't recognize earlier, we get the chairman so this morning now for the Sierra Leone Premier League Clubs Union, where now Mr. Houghton, you self don't recognize it at the studio, and earlier where we they discuss issues we get for do with concern them, where they get SLF in one pan the institutions them, where he make mention of them, he get a meeting earlier before now, but according to them, they yet for see the seriousness where the SLFA take the union. As per, for example, they invite the president for SLFA. Now the meeting will not be able to show up, but send a representative. How serious SLFA take the union?
I think, thank you very much. Mr. Noel Houghton, we don't get several conversations and engagements. And the SLFA takes seriously members of the SLFA. The union, Mr. Noel Houghton will tell you, say, not a constituted body of the FA, but now an organization where they want to put together for look at the youth clubs, them welfare. I don't understand the distinction. And in football, Mr. Noel Houghton will tell you, say, if you look at Article 19 of the SLF, the FIFA statute, it says bodies not elected or selected shall not be recognized. We not reach at that age. But what do we do as an SLFA? When they come to we embrace them. We've been engaging severally. I understand Mr. Noel Houghton, the first meeting, they invite the president, they invite me. But me, I not be well. Mr. Noel Houghton confirms I not be well. And say, please, we understand, say you know well, so you know come. And I even apologize to them. The president sent a representative, when I no less a person than the director of competition. When I'm Mr. Sori Ibrahim Sisi, a go there. Mr. Noel Houghton, we get a very good relationship. Now, one person, this is what they explain. So now one person will put in football in Cameroon say, Chris, you guys should take punitive measures for green discipline at this game. So what they try to say is, they know football like I do. Let it bring the issues come to the FA, now we can discuss the issue. One amongst the many is the restart of the league. the welfare of the clubs, the financing of the competition. There are many things because Mr. Noel Otin engaged the FA in Cameroon, he engaged government and engaged the Premier League board. I will advise them again that engagement when it don't start, they come back now the FA, now continue with our way of giving a productive result. And going to the media, we begin to get draw over the media.
We look at the support to the Premier League board as an FA. How support the Premier League board then now for ensure the Premier League resume back February 11 this year?
I can tell you, Mr. Kamara say, the last time the SLFA dished out 2 billion. Besides that, we give direct support to the Premier League clubs. When I be a novelty. This one, as I speak to you, we expect for announced sponsorship from Africell, and again, the government of Sierra Leone give a commitment for funding the league. So we are waiting for 2 positive results from the from Africell, and of course, from and besides that, the SLFA don't get strong engagement with the Premier League board for see as a secondary cover or a contingency plan for come with an alternative source of funding for the start of the league on the 11th of February.
11th of February, then at the 8th, they talk about sponsorship to be announced. How soon this sponsorship will be announced and the government couple will come for make the league start effectively on 11th of February?
I repeat again, the sponsor, they prepare the sponsorship agreement. We don't wait on the sponsor, but again, at the sponsor, they provide the funds. You know, go post they say, if the sponsor don't announce to we in a meeting, Africell is a very responsible institution. It's a very credible partner. If Africell don't tell the FA, we are willing to sponsor you, they know the date when the team they start, and they tell you, say, we support the league. I think we got to wait for Africell to respond to we. Secondly, government supports. You know, say a procedure. Mr. Noel Otin knows, say, all the processes and documentation don't go to government. Come long thing. But if the Ministry of Sports and the government is very committed, the minister is very committed, the executive director of NSA is very committed. As I speak, they don't send the documentation, go to State House, they look for executive approval for them to get the funds for give to the league. So now we'll be very patient. Let me tell you, say, we send 2 measures the day. SLFA again don't engage the Premier League club board on what you call a contingency plan. That is, in an event, the first plan fail, SLFA can come in and make sure say the league starts on the 11th. Now it is that.
Okay, many thanks to you, Chris Kamara, for where you clarified the issues in the earlier. Chris Kamara been the talk make clarification around issues we get for do with kids them where they say the players them we go represent Salona Afcon suppose for give back to the FA and it be the clarify the issues in the as to how they reach to their instructions and later I clarify issues we get for do with support from the FA towards the second leg of the Premier League we go start on the 11th of February. Chris Kamara, the General Secretary for SLFA, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue, but quickly before we come to the studio guest, as we get Babadie Kamara na the line, we're the team manager for Leon Stars, as soon as we earlier from the SLFA's General Secretary Chris Kamara, but Usai be explain and clarify issues we get for do with kids when they expect the players them for return. Well, for no us role, Babadie Kamara they play as team manager for Enshosi, then Kitia go back. Let me just start for confirm first from good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Good morning, Sierra Leone.
All right, Mr. Kamara, just start for confirm first for listeners them. If you as team manager be aware of the instructions where the kids manager na SLFA being give to the player them for SAGA, the kids them waiting for return.
As team manager, I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of any meeting wherein the FA give instructions say the players are for return, then keep them be it Jazzy or SUITCASE after the tournament. I'm not aware of anything of that nature. It is very surprising to me at this moment we can't hear people debate on SUITCASE where like tournaments like one of something we very vital and every player in life and that everything you get as a player in that kind of tournament is that we for keep for the rest of your life, we for cherish for the rest of your life. So for me, the FA or anybody say the players for return to cases is very surprising and I really need to understand where this is coming from.
So you as team manager not they support that instructions the way SLFA say them begin so you play them for letting return then Kitia?
No, I don't support that one day. I don't support that because if you want to do a thing like that, prior to the tournament, you get conditions for set for every player. When you come, you sign those conditions. If you be there, the conditions say, where they go to the tournament, everything they give you for return and back, you sign. So when you sign after the tournament for return and back, these are the things people they know they do right. In life, no matter what you find yourself, always ensure integrity should be the most important thing we for keep at all times. When I joined the national team as team manager, one will travel go Morocco, will come and write a report and make recommendations. How if we're going to tournament, how if we're going to games day. Put everything on paper, make player they sign. Once they sign, let's say for instance, how much you will get for draw, how much you will get for winning, how much you get for appearance fee, what thing that you judge the conditions, everything. Make they sign and send out to the players when they invite them. Once they sign the documents and they come, you know so where you can wait play, they get how much amount. You know so where you do for play for return the jersey. Nobody will ask you for that one day. But in real case, even when you write, even when you give recommendations, nobody absolutely when they look into them thing and they what them what people feel for do, very few that the FA people do, that they do. And when we did Cameroon, I heard this one where Chris they say Steven in one return in suitcase. Steven in room, they just by million room. Steven, Malian and Saidumada, all be there around million room. After the tournament, Steven be so vexed that everything with the game is way all. Even in suitcase, the Malian is did. You know, like you say, going to turn back to the kitchen manager. No, he was vexed because of the discipline, because of the so many things that will go wrong. Cameroon. So because of that one, they just after we don't lose. When the Gambia don't win again, they carry the stadium. He was so ashamed and vexed that he do everything to Malian there. It's nothing. So now Malian they begin focusing about go get the city manager. So Stevie, I don't return.
Talking about indiscipline and the vex way Stephen Coker vex. Now one way you will look at in the future. But now we look at this suitcase issue. Now players them money then at the FA, then they ask them for go with the suitcase back before they give them the cup away due them. What's in the way forward from the team manager standpoint?
I don't see this entirely. Everything we player they get for that tournament is that thing we for keep for the rest of their life, we for cherish for the rest of their life. For ask anybody for return a suitcase for less than $100, I don't believe say that's a human enough, and even we as a nation, that's good for we. Because when into that tournament, the government of Sierra Leone did everything. And I don't believe the government will ask say, come back with it to a shoot, come back with it to suitcase. For which reason? For doing thing with them.
Thank you very much, Babadie Kamara, the team manager for the national football team Leon Stars. They talk about the kids issue where the Salon Football Association don't hold player the money for, say they no go give them that cup of they no go with them suitcase. According to them, they against that and they stand against them and they ask the FA not for go that direction.